Hello, good evening, everyone. I believe we are all doing well by God's grace. Yes, so this brings us to the 10th day of the virtual the virtual AI and machine learning training organized by the College Caucus of the KNUST SRC Parliament in collaboration with the Guard Academy and Build It. Yes. So we've gone on an amazing journey from starting from Python programming, and we would have to actually continue with machine learning. But due to the fact that a lot of us are trying to kind of grasp more concepts when it comes to the programming side and are trying to figure things out on our own, we decided to bring in the no code part of this AI training before we start machine learning so that you guys would get ample time to balance the Python programming with Python programming with no code so you could get more time to understand it very well. Yes. So today we are going to look at an interesting concept in the AI space, right? And trust me, you are going to love it. It's going to be an amazing ride, right? So do want to pay close attention to whatever I would say today, whatever I would teach today, and make sure if you have any question, you can ask it in the comment section, right? Yeah. So without much ado, let's just dive in and get started. Right. So today we are going to talk about AI automation. That is building no-code AI agents. Right. But then before that, we'd have to know certain key terminologies before we can dive into the main thing. Right. Now, the first term I have is a prompt. Right. When we talk about a prompt, how do you understand? How do you understand it? So, a prompt is basically A prompt is basically a user input or instruction given to an AI model like ChatGPT to guide its response or behavior, right? So let me make this very simple. Whenever you are using an AI system like ChatGPT, Claude, or let's say Google Gemini or Grok, or let me say DeepSeek, right? The questions you ask is known as the prompt. So the input you are providing or the instruction you are giving it for it to generate the output for you or for it to give you a response is what we know as a prompt, right? Take note of that. Now, we also have LLM, which stands for Large Language Model, and it's a very simple concept, right? And it basically means an AI model trained on vast text data to understand, generate, and interact in natural language with human-like fluency. So take a close look at this. Let's say I have an AI system, right? This is my AI system. Now, this AI system accepts an input. It accepts an input and then it generates an output, right? Now, before this AI system would be able to generate this output, then it's either it has vast data being trained on it. So that when you ask it the question or whenever you provide the prompt, right? Whenever you provide a prompt, based on what it has learned, it will be able to give you the output, or let me say, the response you need. I believe that is clear. So these AI systems have large language models because they have been trained on vast data. So based on what it has been trained on and based on what it knows and understands, when you give it a prompt or when you ask it a question, it will be able to generate the response for you. So that is what we mean by large language model. Now let's move on to the next one. Let's move on to the next concept, which is system prompts. Now, a system prompt, you realize that initially we spoke about a prompt, right? Yes. A prompt is basically the instruction or the input you provide to an AI system to guide its behavior or to guide how it's going to generate an output for you, right? Now, when it comes to system prompt is basically a hidden or background instruction that defines the AI's behavior, tone, and constraints before user interaction begins. Now, let's pay close attention to this. Before user interaction begins. Before what? User interaction begins. Let me give you an example. Now, most of these small AI systems you see out there are a wrap of either chat GPT, DeepSeek, DeepSeek, Claude, etc. Now, when I say a wrap, it's more like they are taking the functionality of ChatGPT or let's say DeepSeek, they are tapping into it, and what they've done is they've just tweaked it a bit to suit a specific function. You get it? Now, take a close look at ChatGPT. Now, when you ask ChatGPT a question on law, it will be able to answer. When you ask it a question on engineering, it will be able to answer. When you ask it a question on content, to create a content, it will be able to generate the content for you, right? It can do a lot of things. So a lot of things, right? Now, we get to a point where we want to tap into the functionality of ChatGPT, but then it should do something specific for us, right? So let's say you want to build a system. So let's say a content creating system, right? A content creating system for LinkedIn. And let's say your niche is motivation, right? Now you realize that you can actually use ChatGPT to generate the content for you. Do you get it? But then for you to make ChatGPT, this is a system. So we can say this is, let's say, an app, or let's say a website. For you to make sure ChatGPT works in your app, for it to generate the specific type of content for you around motivation on LinkedIn, then you'd have to create a system prompt. So let's say this is ChatGPT. Before that, you have to tap into the functionality of ChatGPT. So tap into the functionality of ChatGPT, right? Now you have to provide a system prompt. So the system prompt is what is going to guide it to only focus on generating the content around motivation for you. So it's more like you are giving it a set of instructions that tells the system to perform a specific task. So most of these small AI systems, because they don't have the resources to host these large language models, when you're hosting these large language models, you need high computing power, electricity, and all that. These are some resources you need. So if you don't have them, you can tap into the functionality of the already existing ones. Then you can just tweak it a bit using a system prompt to make it act in a specific way. Do you get it? So when we set the system prompt to, let's say, probably act as the best copywriter in the world, or best copywriter and LinkedIn content creator in the world, who posts content, high performing content about motivation, blah blah blah. You set the system prompt like that. The AI system will now act like that. So even sometimes you can see a small AI system. It is a wrap of these already existing AI systems like ChatGPT, DeepSeek, and Claude. But then they've set the system prompt in such a way that whenever you ask it who built it or where is it coming from, it will never tell you that it's from ChatGPT or let's say OpenAI, or even DeepSeek, Claude, Grok, any of them. You get it? Good. So the system prompt, once again, is a hidden or background instruction that defines the AI's behavior, tone, and constraints before user interaction begins. Right. Good. So that is what we mean by a system. That's what we mean by a system prompt. Yeah. So I just explained system prompts. and I've already also explained large language model. So now let's move on to APIs. APIs means application programming interfaces. So it's a standardized method that allows software systems to communicate and share data or functionality securely and efficiently. So let's take note of this one. To communicate, that is the first one. To share data or functionality securely and efficiently. So let me give you an example. I want to explain, we'll dive deep into APIs, but I want to give you the very basic explanation so you get to understand what I'm trying to say. Now, let's say you have a delivery app, right? So let's say you have a delivery app. This is your delivery app. You have a delivery app here. Now, the delivery men complain that sometimes when they are delivering products, right, they are not, especially the motor riders, they are not able to predict weather conditions and all that. So when it's about to rain and it's dangerous to actually ride in the heavy rain, it's very dangerous. So they want to have a weather prediction system being integrated, weather prediction system being integrated into the delivery app so that they get to track the weather conditions and all that to help them make informed decisions whenever they are working. Good. So this is what we are going to do. This is what we are going to do. For you to build an entire weather prediction model before you come and integrate it into the delivery app, right? If someone, or let's say another business, already have that system, so weather prediction app. If there is a system that has already been built on that, right? What you can do is, yes, so what you can do is you can rather tap into the functionality of the weather prediction app into the delivery app without building it from scratch. And how do you do that? You do that with the help of APIs, right? Good. So the API would be more of the API would be more of the betweener between the what am I saying? Betweener between tautology, interested. So the API is what would help communicate between the two systems. Do you get it? So in this case, we are getting the API from the weather prediction app. Then we integrate it. So integrate it into the delivery app. So when you integrate it here, it means that we can now have the functionality of the weather prediction app, the functionality of the weather prediction app in the delivery app as well. So that is what APIs do. APIs help you communicate and share data or what functionality securely and efficiently between two systems or two or more systems. Do you get it? Now, another way is that most of these AI agents we'll be building, right? We will depend on ChatGPT when we want to use an AI model. Do you get it? So let's say this is ChatGPT and this is our agent. For us to make sure that we have the functionality of ChatGPT in the AI agent, would have to integrate ChatGPT's, we get an API from ChatGPT, that is OpenAI, their platform, then we integrate it into the AI agent. So with that, we can now interact. The AI agent can now work like ChatGPT. It can get the functionality of ChatGPT. So this is the basic explanation when it comes to APIs, right? It is very detailed. It is very detailed, we are going to do more explanation on that when we start applying them. But then in the interim, just move on to the next part. We just move on to the next part. Then we continue from where we ended. Now we are moving to the main thing. So let's keep the suspense and let's move together. Now, what is an AI agent? So finally, we are diving into the main thing, which is AI agent. Which is AI agent. Good. Now, an AI agent is a software entity that autonomously perceives, decides, and acts in an environment to achieve specific goals using AI techniques. Hmm, interesting. This is a simple definition. I've already explained this definition in our previous lessons. The first lesson we had, the first day, right? So you can go back, but then I'll explain that in detail here. Now, the other way to define an AI agent is basically a system where an LLM output controls a tool. So if an LLM output, an LLM output controls a tool, then we say it is what? An AI agent. So look at something. You realize that I explained what an LLM is. I explained what an LLM is, right? And then I explained what a prompt is. You ask it a question, it gives you a response. If that response that is being generated, if that output that is coming from the LLM is able to control a tool, then we say it is an AI agent. So the tool could be either Gmail, Telegram, WhatsApp, Jira for project management, etc. Right? If the LLM output is able to control a tool, we say it is an AI agent. Now, I have a diagram here. Let me quickly explain this diagram. Then we see the raw part of it and we see how we can apply it in what we are doing. Good. Now, first, this is the AI agent. This is the AI agent. The AI agent accepts an input, right? Now, when this input gets into the AI agent has a brain and then it has instructions. Now, these instructions is also known as the system prompt because we defined what a system prompt is. A system prompt is basically a set of instructions hidden behind a system that controls how the system that controls the behavior and tone of the system before user interaction. So the system prompt is what is controlling the AI agent to perform a specific function. Do you get it? That is what the system prompt will do. Now, the AI agent also needs a brain. The brain, we need a brain because if, let's say, I make a request, I want my AI agent to do something, it would only be able to do that if it has a brain. It's like human beings. If you don't have brain, how can you operate? So the brain is more like the LLM memory. So in every case, we still need an LLM attached to the AI agent. Then we have the tool here. The tool, as I said, could be Gmail, Telegram, WhatsApp, Jira, etc., etc. It could be Slack, it could be Discord, etc., etc. Depending on what you want your AI agent to do. So AI agents basically have a brain, it has instructions, and it has a tool. Now, once it passes through the AI agent, then we can now get what? An output. Right, good. So now, I will demonstrate something to you real quick. Then we see what I just explained here. So I have my N8N here. Don't worry, I would introduce that to you, but then I just want to show you an example of the AI agent I was talking about. All right. So this is basically a simple AI agent that sends email based on a simple prompt. So let me show you something. Send a welcome. I'm trying it for you guys to see what I mean by that. Send a welcome email to codeassassin8117 at gmail.com. Let's run this. Now I realize that when I run it, it will first trigger the chat. The AI agent pass through the AI agent, use its memory to create the email, and then come in. So it will use the AI model to generate, and it will now send the email. So if I check my email, if I check my email, realize that it's just sent, right? So quickly let me quickly good. So realize that it has sent the email. So welcome aboard. Excited to have you with us. Hello, welcome. We are thrilled to have you join our community. Blah 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 blah. Right. Good. So this is an example of a simple AI agent that sends an email just from a single prompt. So it is saving you the time of going to an AI model, giving it a prompt, generating the email, coming back to Gmail, going to compose, type the subject, type the body, and send. It is just using one single prompt. And you can use this prompt to even send it to multiple people. Right. So when you take a close look at this agent has the OpenAI chat model. So the OpenAI chat model is more like our LLM, the LLM we are using. Right? Because we can't build an LLM from scratch, we don't have the resources. We are using the functionality of ChatGPT, and you have to connect your credentials to it. Do you get it? Yes. Using your API, create an API and link it here. Yes. Right. Good. Now, this is a simple memory, right? I just wanted, because it's in the form of a conversation, I wanted it to remember the past conversations as well, right? And this is the tool. So this agent, the output that it will create from the LLM, that output will now be used to control Gmail to send it. You get it? Good. So this is an example of an AI agent that sends email message just from a single prompt, right? So you can see that it has the chat model, it has memory, and then it has a tool. The input comes from here when chat message received. So the chat message is what I typed here, and the output, the final output, is the email it generated. You get that? Good. So this explains to us what an AI agent is. Now let's let's move on to the next concept. With this particular one, a lot of people really confuse it with AI agent, a workflow. Now, a workflow, a workflow is a series of connected steps or tasks, often automated, often what? Automated. That's process data or perform actions to complete a specific objective. Good. So now, let's say you are working in a company, right? The company has workers, and the workers usually do manual tasks all the time. Now, you want to create an automation tool that works with the steps, the series of steps that your workers go through to actually complete that specific objective. So, you design the automation tool to do that. Without it being integrated by AI, with AI, we don't call it an AI agent. It's basically a workflow. You get it? Good. So let me show you an example of a workflow here. So let me go back to um okay. So this is a very simple AI agent that automates WhatsApp messages. Right. Now if you check here, there's nothing like there's nothing like an AI model attached to it. You actually provide the message yourself in a Google Sheet. Then the automation tool fetches the message from the Google Sheet and then sends it. I will explain this AI agent to you guys later on. So an AI it's an AI is sorry it's an agent, or let's say a workflow that automates WhatsApp messages. Do you get it? So this is basically a workflow. And anything you create on N8N, you can even see plus, so create workflow, right? So it becomes an agent when you integrate AI functionality to it, when the LLM output is able to control it too, right? So that is the difference. So please don't be confused. So in this training, we'll be doing both AI agents and workflows as well, right? Now the final part of what we have is platform for creating AI agents. Yes. Now we have open source frameworks. Yes. So the open source frameworks, Pydantic AI, Camel AI, LangChain, and then the rest. These frameworks sometimes require you to code, right? And then we have open accounts. So for this training, we are just going to start with a cloud platform. Although it's they give you a free version for only 2 weeks. So when the 2 weeks is over, I'll teach you guys how to get the actual how to run it locally on your machine for free. Yeah, for free, right? Good. So let me quickly go to your go to your search bar and type n8n.io. Type n8n.io. Now when you type n8n.io, you now choose get started for free. Get started for free. Right. Good. Get started for free. Now, when you click on get started for free, you now have to provide the names, right? You have to provide the details. So let's say first name, let's use Godsonic. Company name, probably let's use Godsonic AI. Confirm email address. Um, so just provide your email address. Set a password, right? So the password, choose your own password. Yeah, choose your own password. So let's say confirm email. Email doesn't match. Check spelling errors. Yeah, it's correct. Account name. I got Sonic 1234. Right. Let's do this and start. Oh, sorry. Company email. I didn't see that. Company email. Okay. So start your 14-day trial. All right. So they will ask you some questions. They would ask you some questions, and then you can choose any of them. So there are just some basic questions. Just do anything, right? Automation agency, LinkedIn. I just choose anything. So invite teams, skip. Your workspace is starting up. So we are going to okay. All right. So when you're done, just click on start automating. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So you now have your N10 account. You now have your N10 account. So if you want to create a new workflow, you can just come here, create workflow. Good. So at this point, we've been able to learn the introduction, the key concepts, and we've created our N10 account. Tomorrow, God willing, we are going to build our first AI agent. Until then, take care. I would want to inspire you a bit that you've done so well for joining this session and getting to this point. Now, this is the part where we are going to do more practical things and more, amazing and crazy stuff, right? Yes. So you would get to appreciate it more. Tomorrow we'll build the agent I showed you guys today, and then on Monday we are also going to build another agent that does something very special, right? Yes. So we'll build a lot of agents, and I'll use those agents to explain all the different concepts we have for you, right? So until then, take care.